Hey, what's going on, everybody? James here, your ABX audiophile. We are the world's only 100% non-profit charity reviewers. 100% of our revenue goes directly to help youth musical programs. And what we're going to talk about today, some black ice. Oh yeah, let's do it, baby. Here we go. All right, so if you watched my last review, or maybe a couple reviews ago, they're kind of blending in nowadays, we talked about some DACs and some of my favorite DACs and some of the thoughts around, finding something that you like on the new market, kind of watching reviews, checking out your used market, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Reverb, all of these, audio marts, things like that, and trying to find the pieces that you want at a reasonable price. And so what we're going to talk about today is the Black Ice Glass Effects Tube DAC, available in black or silver, $900 retail, almost $1,000 to get it at your door. I found it for $300 at my local hi-fi shop, and it is a stunner. Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about kind of standard form, faction, just kind of how the whole thing feels. Here's the piece itself. You can see it here. I basically almost consider this guy an integrated amplifier, if you will, in some sense. And the reason that I say that is because you can set this literally at your desktop in a small system. You can USB right out from the PC, and it has a headphone out here, and you are rocking and rolling. Volume controls, input selectors, power button, everything on this thing is ready to rock and roll for you. So it's a plug and play, sit down, send it a digital source, and it is rocking and rolling. So what we got here on the front, we've got your standard 3.5 millimeter headphone output. So if you got your favorite set of cans, you just plug this thing in, you're rocking and rolling. A nice volume knob here, feels really good. I don't think it's plastic just because it feels cold, but it could be. But I feel like it's kind of aluminum. But you've got a volume knob on here, no remote control. Here are your input selectors. We've got an array of USB, coax, Toslink, and then we have Wi-Fi on this guy built in. So you could literally just take your phone, hook it up to Wi-Fi, put your Qobuz, put your Tidal, put your Amazon, Apple, whatever your favorite thing is, and you are rocking and rolling, ready to do your deal. Nice push down power button, makes a nice audible click when you engage it. Really, really cool. That's the front. Let's take a look at the back. Okay, on the back, here's the back right here. I'll hold it up there for you guys. You can see right there, we've got a Toslink input, USB input, coaxial input, and then we've got a single-ended analog output, power supply, and then you've got your Wi-Fi antenna here, which you can kind of fold down if you've got, some space issues. You want to kind of slide it in there. So that's the back of the unit. Really nice plugs here. Everything feels really robust, nice and square, and there's sockets for the Toslink and the USB inputs, your coaxial input. Really nice, got the Black Ice logo, super, super cool. That's the back. All right, so just for the sake of the show, I went and got a power plug for it because it's really cool. When you plug this guy in, the B on the top actually illuminates. And here on the front, you can see it's got a blue LED light here. So if you switch your input, you can see that it kind of rotates. We've got some nice little blue lighting that goes along with the tubes. So they're kind of backlit a little bit and kind of a cool blue, to kind of give you that ice vibe, if you will. Glass top on this thing. You can see kind of the glass top, the little LED underneath there for the B. Super, super cool. Really, really nice. I mean, this thing is beefy and 100% tube powered. There is no op amps in here. This thing is driven all the way off of these two 12AU7s. I believe they're 12AU7s. Don't mark me down on that. I'll have to pull up their website. But by the tubes here. All right, so let's jump over and take a look at their website. I just kind of want to show you guys, where this comes from, what you can get. Let's look at it. We'll swing over here to our scene 2. Taking a look at the website here, you can see they give you all the different photos for it. Here you got to select your color. Like I said, either black or silver. You run down the line here and they give you all the different kind of photos and angles, which I pretty much already took, you know, for you guys, showed you in the videos there. But there's the nice black lit tubes. Here's the back panel that we talked about. Pretty simple stuff. Here they kind of talk about, you know, hybrid headphone amplifier, 2 AX7s, not AU7, so I stand corrected there. PCM, Brown Burr 32192, DAC chip, AirPlay certified up to 32-bit 192, so that is pretty fantastic there. The DSD chip is the Savvy Bravo SA9227, and then the output tubes, like I said, are the A7s. The thing is just built really, really super good. And then, yeah, that's it. And basically included in the box, you get the DAC, 2 output tubes, power cord, antenna, USB cable. All could be upgraded. You know, if you wanted to look at something from, you know, Pine Tree Audio or AF Audio or something like that, looking into, you know, some cabling there. But overall, really, really cool, really well built. And I just really like it. I like all the stuff that Black Ice does. So someday I'll have one of their expensive tube amps. Maybe they'll send us one for review. All right, so that's kind of just a standard overall rundown of the Black Ice Glass Effects Tube DAC DSD Wi-Fi. Like I said on the website, if you go look at it, it's available in silver or black, $899 retail. I guarantee, try to find one used if you can. But even at $899, I was super impressed with this DAC. And let's talk about kind of the soundstage, the overall presentation of this unit, how it kind of blended with some of my gear, and get into the sound for you guys. All right, let's go. We auditioned this with the Dynaudio M50s, our ABX LDA open baffle speakers, which if you guys haven't checked out, go watch the reviews, as well as our Clip Fortes, and even our Clip Fortes using open baffle subwoofers from La Dolce Audio, which are mind-blowing, by the way. And the soundstage was really nice. Everything that you'd expect from a tube amplifier. I didn't feel like integrating this with the PrimaLuna warmed it up and souped it up enough. I felt that there was enough tightness and dynamicness to the bass, because that PrimaLuna really, really brings a nice bass to the system, to the stage. And I felt like that integrating this Black Ice only reinforced that. And I will say, the bass is really, really special in this DAC, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But overall, it didn't take away from the soundstage width or dimensioning. It retained some nice detail and focus. I don't think that it took away anything there in the soundstage. If anything, I felt like it added a little bit better layering and some dimensionality to the soundstage. And that could just be because of the tubes, you know, having a dedicated tube DAC that is, you know, doesn't run off solid state anything. You know, integrated with the PrimaLuna maybe did something to that dimensionality there. I don't know, but I felt like it kind of did. And overall, the soundstage was really nice. So if you implement this into a solid state system, you may gain some holographicness and that kind of dimensionality to your soundstage. And if you integrate it with already tube amplifier, I felt that it only just kind of added to it a little bit. It didn't make it extreme. It didn't kind of get, you know, bad or anything. So thinking about that overall presentation. Let's get into how this sounds specifically running through the bass all the way up through the treble, and we'll move from there. All right, so some of the other DACs that we used kind of in auditioning the Black Ice Glass Effects DAC was the Shit Bifrost 2, the Denafrips Aries 2, as well as we even threw in, what did we throw in? Oh, and we'll be doing a review on this guy, the SMSL U1 DAC. We actually threw that in the mix as well. We also utilized the EverSolo DMP-A6 streamer. Glorious. Internal DAC, which is a really nice DAC as well. And kind of just ran through all of them. But overall, kind of the sound signature, if you will, of the Black Ice Glass Effects DAC. Very robust, very nice bass. We get that nice little mids, that vocalness that comes out of those tubes. That kind of portrays really, really well. Nice airy highs that don't really have a lot of sibilance to them, a little bit rolled off. Just as kind of a tube that you would think would do, just in a DAC kind of a lot less than maybe say a integrated amplifier or an amplifier. When listening to our ABX Audiophiles playlist, which by the way is now published on Qobuz, if you go to Hi-Fi Partners, we are listed right in there. ABX Audiophiles playlist, all of the tracks that we use to test all of this gear and equipment and everything is in there. Check it out. Let's talk about the bass. When you talk about tracks to use to audition gear, you really need to, especially when you get into the DAC and cable space and stuff like that, to be able to kind of really identify some of those differences overall. You want to be listening to music and songs that you're familiar with. So when we auditioned the bass and kind of looked at that, again, Make Us Stronger by Ghostwriter, You and I by Fleur, Rush for Joe, Yellow, what do we got? Origins, Head Flux, all of our standard ones. Getting into the kind of that upper bass, lower mids, we start to get into some of those drum solos by Banu Cachet, bass and drum intro by Nils Lofgren. Those are kind of our standard go-to bass tracks. One of the things that I noticed right off the rip was, damn, this is pretty clean bass for a tube. Especially with no solid state in the chain, period, once you leave the DAC, right? Because we're going directly into a PrimaLuna DiaLouge Premium and then boom, to the speakers. And so EverSolo to the DAC, DAC to the PrimaLuna, and bada bing, bada bang. So when we're swapping out some of the other DACs, one things that I'll notice, like comparing to the Aries, when we compare this Black Ice to the Aries 2, a little less focused and detail, kind of a tiny bit of diffusion around those kind of details that are in that soundstage when we move from the Aries to the Black Ice. But we get a little bit more holographicness, some layering, slightly better separation, and that bass is just kicking. I mean, the bass is so controlled and nice. It doesn't get muddy. You would think running like tubes on tubes, we'd start to get some muddy bass. But with these AX7s in here, and I will say this is just with the stock tubes, I think you can do way, way better on tubes for a little bit of money. So that was kind of the only thing that was lacking there was I think that you could do better on the tubes. You kind of push into that upper bass, lower mids, especially kind of moving up the line there. You do get kind of a little bit of a diffused sound compared to, say, the Shit Bifrost or the Aries 2. Similarities between the Aries is just a soundstage king, in the width and depth and height and just all of the, one of the best DACs I've ever heard for soundstage. If that's your jam, this Black Ice is going to get you in that space with a little bit better bass than the Aries 2. But you're not going to get kind of as much of that clarity, detail, and focus as you would with the Aries 2, and the Ship Bifrost kind of being in the middle of those two there. I'd say the Bifrost is a little bit cleaner, a little more analytical, a little narrower of a sound stage. Maybe if you have a tube amplifier that you want to kind of tame down a little bit because you're kind of, just swimming around the room, maybe the Bifrost too. But overall, Black Ice, beautiful. All right, so getting into the mid-ranges, Elvis Presley Fever, Acoustics by Billy Rafool, Old Rugged Cross by Corey Henry. Oh, that vocal, man, I'm telling you, just gets deep down there. As always with tubes, you just get this life and this realness to them. And that is not amiss in the Black Ice Glass Effects DAC. Absolutely great vocals. I don't think it pushes the mids. I hear a lot of people say all the time, oh, well, the reason everybody likes tubes is because it just arches them mids up. Nah, I think some tubes do. I think there's a huge misconception when it comes to tubes. And I bet you that you could make this tube DAC probably sound completely different by rolling some tubes in there. So if you like tubes, if you like playing with tubes, if you like that vocal realness that tubes can provide, You know, that overall soundstage and holographicness. Hard to beat this guy. Moving in kind of to some upper mids vocals. Man in a Long Black Coat by Bob Dylan. Always, you know, good, clean, sounds really nice. Besame Mucho. That is a song of songs, man. That Besame Mucho by Marcin Wojtek, I guess is how you say it. I'm not exactly sure, but that will just kind of show you everything. That is a phenomenal track to listen to. That thing, the separation, especially with this Black Ice, especially compared to like the shit Bifrost. If you put the Bifrost in or you drop the Black Ice in, you know, it's like Black Ice or Bifrost, everything kind of tightens up and the distance between the things gets less. You put the Black Ice in, whoop, everything kind of expands a little bit fuzzy on the very, very leading edges of kind of the information that's floating around the stage. But man, absolutely phenomenal. Worked really, really good. Pillar by Andy Akio, kind of testing those upper mids, getting those snaps. When you first start that song, you got to be careful because you'll blow some damn speakers out. And this is also a good song to kind of test the dimensionality and the layering and the distance between things. Very, very good. I didn't feel anything lacking in the Black Ice in that space. Moving up into kind of some upper vocals, Airy, the C by Airy. You know, that thing's pretty clean on the top, and it can kind of really get you. Again, tubes, little bit rolled off. I think you could do some more magic with this Black Ice if you rolled these tubes. I think there's a lot of potential here. That was the only space where I really kind of felt like, I feel like we could do a little something. I think the Aries 2 has you here in this space. The Aries 2 just has this tonality and sweetness to the upper end that the Black Ice did not have, and I attribute that probably to the tubes that are in this thing. I don't think they're, you know, super high-end tubes. Let's yank one of these guys out here. I don't even know what they are. So they are a Tungsol. Tungsol 12AX7 made in Russia. I really think that that's kind of the space where you could really do some magic in this guy. Is by kind of upgrading those tubes and looking for some different options, you know, which isn't expensive. A couple of these guys, you know, you'd be good to go. Let's see. And I think that's really about it as far as, Dirty Nightgown by Felix Band. Another one, Hurricane Dub by Gracie Jones. Absolutely phenomenal. Just gets the whole song going. I mean, overall, this thing from low-end extension all the way up to your treble extension and your soundstage really does a phenomenal job. The only thing that I would fault at a benefit kind of this nice bass that we get, this tightness in this bass, this richness in the vocal range that some people like, some people don't, is we get that little bit of diffuseness and lack of clarity, detail and focus in the upper end. And it's not extreme. I'm splitting hairs here. But if I had to choose, if that was my jam, that I wanted something super clear and ultra focused, I'm going with, you know, Ladder Schumann, Aries 2. Even the shit Bifrost I think is a little bit cleaner than even the Aries. But anyway, just some thoughts on that, and that's kind of where we're at with everything. That's the sound. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that review. I really appreciate you spending the time with us here today. If you made it this far in the video because you are an awesome person, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Just by doing that, you are helping us raise money for youth musical programs across the country. We are the world's only 100% nonprofit charity reviewers. You can see our new logo in the background there. Look out for it on all your social media stuff. Check out our brand new playlist on Qobuz. You can go to our website at abxaudiophiles.org. We have everything listed there for you guys, and you can see how you can be a part of the great work that we're doing in our community. I love you all. Have a fantastic day.